So welcome to the channel. We're going to take a break from our typical DIY and building projects that we usually do on the channel and do a little cooking episode. It's been a while since we've done one, and the last several cooking videos have been performing very well. Maybe we need to include a few more of those on our weekly channel. So I have been on a smoking kick ever since getting my Masterbuilt Gravity 800 many months ago, and it has just been a breeze to cook on and such an enjoyable process. So today we're going to do a smoked fish meal. I've never shown one of these before on the channel, and actually this is a meal I typically do in the oven, but I got to thinking the other night, a little hint of smoke flavor and doing it on the smoker has got to make it taste good, but I guess we're going to find out together. So just know that you can do this in the oven if you'd like to try it that way. We're just going to change a few things up to do it on the smoker. So to start out with, we have some grouper fillets. We caught these, by the way, if you want to watch that video, I'll put it down there in the description. And we love having some fresh grouper fillets. Although these are frozen, we did catch them a while back. We need to go get more. I recommend a thick, kind of white, flaky fish for this particular meal. Something that's thin and going to fall apart probably isn't going to work well. So any sort of thick fillet that's relatively firm, I think will be fine in this dish. Normally I use a 9x13 baking dish and grease it up really well. Since we're going on the smoker, I'm just going to use one of these aluminum pans right here. So for starters, just go ahead and spray the bottom down with your favorite nonstick. And I'm going to layer these fillets all in the bottom. All right, so that worked out quite well. Fillets all right there in the bottom of the pan. Trust me on this step, this is where I'm gonna lose some people I know. Mayonnaise. I used to hate this stuff with a passion. It's growing on me. It's excellent for cooking in a meal like this because it's so fatty and oily. That's what you want in a dish like this. Take some mayonnaise, put you a few dollops down in there. Obviously, we don't want to cross-contaminate. We're not gonna rub this on our fish and then get back in the jar. And don't worry, the majority of this cooks off and winds up in the bottom of the pan as fats and oils. All right, let's zoom on in here and show the process. So now we're gonna take that mayonnaise and just smear it all over the fish. And if you wind up with excess like it looks like I have, scoop it off. Now you could skip this step and use an oil if you wanted to, but the mayonnaise acts as an excellent binder and has everything we're looking for in here. Next, we're gonna use any sort of your favorite Cajun seasoning. This is the seafood blend by Kinder's. Let's go ahead and hit these fish up with this. You want something with kind of a nice little spicy kick. Any sort of Cajun blend will work. Always add garlic. We put it on everything. I know this looks like a lot of seasoning, but I promise you, as the mayonnaise itself turns into oils, a lot of this will go down in the bottom of that pan. And anytime you're doing fish, you can add a little salt, but look at your Cajun seasoning first. Some are very, very salty. You may skip that step. You can do fresh lemon over this. Well, town is a long ways off. We're not gonna drive all the way to town for a lemon, so we're gonna put a little lemon juice in here. All right, so next we're gonna take a can of crab meat. Even though it says fancy, obviously canned crab is not. It's very expensive to go buy it locally. I'm gonna drain this off and we're gonna put 2 cans in here. So rake your crab meat all on the top of your fish. I'm telling you, even though it's old cheap canned crab, this gives it such a good flavor. Fresh is best, but assuming you can find it and you wanna pay fresh price. And for a dish this size, it usually takes 2 cans, as you can see. Let me get the other one out. All right, next we'll add breadcrumbs. You can do panko, Italian style, doesn't matter. I do like the extra seasoning and flavor of Italian style. All right, and to top this all off, grated Parmesan is typically what I use. Yes, the fresh stuff will be even better and worth using. This is a flavor that I have just learned to love with this meal. Another dusting right there on top, and you're ready to go. So if you want to make this extra healthy, right, you could have put some little slivers of butter in on top of the fish right after you did the mayonnaise, and that'll cook down in there. And if you put enough garlic, man, it kind of gets a scampy taste to it. It's really good. but I have been slowly cutting back and removing the butter out of this dish, but it does make it great. So normally what I would do if I was gonna cook in the oven right here, put tinfoil over this, 350 degrees for about 1 hour. Really depends on the thickness of your fish. If you use a clear 9x13 baking dish, you can kind of look through the bottom, and as soon as you see the fillet turn completely white, you can pull it out. But right before the end, I would remove the foil and kind of, you know, broil this, get the cheese nice and crispy up top. I really like that crispy crunch there. But because we're going straight to the smoker, I'm going to cook this at a lower temp. I'm experimenting today, top off, so we can get all that smoke down in this cheese and the meat and everything else. And then right there at the end, if I'm not done, I may foil it then at that point so I don't dry the top completely out, or if it's not ready, I'll crank the temp up. We're just gonna kind of eyeball it at that point. So let's go outside to get the smoker fired up. I think I'm gonna start this out around 275 degrees, and then we'll maybe bump it up toward 325, 350 at the end, or we may let it cook all the way on 275. I'll let you know whenever we're done with this. Let's go outside. All right, so I've got a little fire starter put in right here. You can see it starting to smoke out. This is my Masterbuilt Gravity 800 charcoal smoker. Now up here in this hopper, I have regular charcoal briquettes mixed in with just oak wood chunks. I'll do oak, cherry, whatever we cut right here off the property. That's one thing I love about this smoker. You can mix in real hardwoods. Typically, I add extra wood chunks down here in my ash pan to get a really heavy smoke, but I'm kind of concerned about doing that with fish, especially fish that's gonna have cheese and everything else on it, because they'll absorb the smoke heavily and it could turn a bit bitter. So I think a good charcoal flavor and occasionally one of these wood chunks that's, you know, gravity flowing down will ignite as well. We're gonna get enough smoke in this dish. All right, the smoker is up to temp at 275. I'm gonna put this right in here uncovered, and I'm going to check on it in about 30 to 45 minutes to make sure the cheese isn't getting too crispy up top or we're not drying things out, and I'll kind of monitor it from there. I expect this to probably take close to an hour and a half at such a low temp. I'll make adjustments throughout if I'm going to bump it up or leave it, and you can come out here with a fork, go into one of your thicker pieces, just stick it in, twist it, see how it breaks apart. If it's white and flaky all the way through, you're done. At that point, you can broil and kind of crisp the cheese up some more or pull it off as is. All right, so it's dark outside and here is the finished product. I did cook it longer than we had talked about, and I'll explain that in just a second. But I want to get that cheese nice and crispy. All right, so this is gonna be really hot. Straight off the smoker, I'm just gonna try a small piece. We're not ready to eat just yet. So I did 250 degrees. I went ahead and bumped it down for about 2 hours, believe it or not. It didn't look like it was cooking all the way through it. I wanted to get that extra smoke flavor. Then I ran it up to 375, and right there at the end, because that smoker can jump temp so quick, I went straight to 500 just to kind of crisp the top. It was already boiling up everywhere. You could tell it was cooked all the way through. So keep those temperatures in mind. I did not have to put foil over the top at all. All right, so hopefully we can get that to focus. Nice flaky grouper. There's some crab meat and crispy cheese right there on top. So we'll try this out. I don't know, could be good, could be bad. If it's bad, obviously I'm not gonna post the video, so let's see. So it's good, don't get me wrong. Almost wish I'd have done a little more smoke. I was being cautious about that. Cheese will typically soak up a lot of smoke. Fish can as well, although it was buried under all the ingredients. I think next time I'll do a heavier smoke. This is very similar to how I do it in the oven with the extra smoke flavor profile that's going on there, which I do like. But I think I'm gonna add a little extra smoke to it next time. But it's good, don't get me wrong at all. You should try this. Do it in the oven if you don't have a smoker, or try it on the smoker for that extra flavor. I like it, I really do. We'll catch y'all in the next video.